Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and its recent price move to the downside. I mean, it's down 10% already for this morning. Having said that, there is 9 hours left in the day, and a lot of things can happen in the span of a day. Um, I mean, one good example, I guess, would be on January 4th. We saw the price go down. Uh, roughly from open to the wick down 16% in a day. Okay, but the buy orders kept on coming up, and it ate back up the price uh back to a reasonable level, and then the next 4 days we rallied up to $40,000. So um what I'm trying to say is, and I'll go over to the other things that I'm looking at here, but yes, uh, Bitcoin's down, but we have seen in the past that it's capable of Bitcoin coming back to a reasonable price level. And what I mean by reasonable is what it was relative to the past few days, not necessarily reasonable in my head, but we've seen that happen before. With this move to the downside as well, we have made contact yet again to the 20-day moving average. It did not happen this go around, but in the past, we have seen the 20-day moving average act as key support on continuing on this bull trend. We have seen that happen here today, and we'll see if that happens again. I mean, it's very possible that Bitcoin can break this level, at which point we go over to the second level that we would always keep in the back of our heads. But the 20-day moving average has shown in the past, at least in recent memory, uh, to be good points of support to keep the price moving upwards. And so time will tell if we are able to continue it or we break down it. Uh, moving on, let me just get rid of these drawings here. So let's say hypothetically we break down, we break further down. Okay, so the 20-day doesn't hold. It doesn't have to be today. It could be in the next few days. We cannot keep the price up at $52,000, and we break further to the downside. Well, the next uh, support region would be the 20-week moving average, which we have not yet, for a very long time, um, hit support from. And right now, the 20-week moving average is at $28,218 on Bitstamp. With Bitcoin's current price move, we are roughly 85% above the 20-week moving average. We are still well above it, folks. Um, Although we're going to the downside and it might look scary, in the grand scheme of things, we're still well above the 20-week moving average. And as long as Bitcoin stays above the 20-week moving average, um, I think it's fine. This is just a correction that we can stomach, or we have to stomach. And if you were accumulating at lower levels, then this is nothing to you. I mean, if you're accumulating in this area, this recent price move doesn't do much for you. However, having said that, if you bought it like 56, 55,000, then you're kind of worried you're down 10% already. Um, Regardless, I think in the currently right now, Bitcoin's down, but we've seen the price move back up in relatively short time. Um, and also we are well above the 20-week moving average. So I think things are still relatively bullish rather than bearish. And I wouldn't necessarily be bearish because of this price move down. I would be bearish in the sense that I think it's still there. But if we look at the RSI, I mean, Bitcoin's uh, in the 90s now. I think, yeah, it's still in the 90s. It's 90.53 today. It was 91 yesterday, and after this current price moved down, and of course the RSI moves, and because the month of February hasn't closed yet. So this is what I'm talking. Like, if you're gonna be any reason that you'd be bearish is that we're entering in the high 90s. And we have seen in the past that high 90 RSI on the monthly Bitcoin chart proves to be an indicator for like either a market cycle top or like a top in the grand bigger scheme of things. Like it showed the top here. It moved sideways or down. I mean, it was a 70% drop from wick to wick. So um, move sideways and then making in the market cycle top. Following this, it's shown a top here. Sorry, I should have drawn that better. On this green candle, uh, the market corrected 8% the following month, and then we rallied on to make the market cycle top. So with us heading to the high to the 90, we're entering in the realm of the 90s, and we're pushing up further with this current trend. It could pose, if history is to repeat itself, it could pose a a current larger top that either A, Bitcoin retraces a good percentage of, or we correct to bring down the RSI to make, and then another leg up for the market cycle top. Mind you, this is on a monthly basis. It's going to take Bitcoin quite a minute to reach the high 90s. I don't think it's going to continue this trend, but if it did, it would reach the high 90s, like 96, for example, within a month, like in March 2021, pretty much. If I if we let's do this real quick, just to get a sense, since everyone's bearish now, um, let's do this. So this is the current trend from where we started in September, for example, to where we are now. So this is February, next month is March, and that would bring us to 97.16 roughly, or 96.88. We'd get into the high 90s by next March. By April, if the trend were to continue, we'd better be at 103. So you can understand how this trend for the RSI is a little um, precarious. I would say it's overheated, but it can be overheated for a long time. I mean, we've been overheated since November, um, but if the trend were to continue, we could see in March a larger top for Bitcoin where it resets, corrects, moves sideways for a month, at least a month. If we use September 2017 as the example. Um, or it could be a longer period like what we saw in 2013, 2014, where we see a bigger correction and essentially recovery for the next few months, with the latter 2 months being the last hurrah for essentially, which would then bring us back to the high 90s again on the RSI. Anyway, uh, that's pretty much wraps it up with Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin's down 10% for the day, but this is nothing. I mean, I mean, even this move in January, Bitcoin dropped roughly like 25-30% in a span of a month. So Bitcoin is capable of dropping that low. It can drop even lower. I don't think it's a straight shoot drop to the 20-week. I think it'll take a lot longer than a week for it to come back down to the 20-week. Maybe several weeks, but we could see something where it slowly bleeds, relatively speaking, slowly bleeds with the 20-week coming up and then making contact. And then this would be the make or break moment for Bitcoin if the trend is to continue upwards, or if we are to break it to the downside and essentially uh, stopping the current trend and wait and see where Bitcoin starts to recover. But that scenario is a long ways away. It'd be impossible to predict accurately at this point if it will break the 20-week. I mean, it hasn't even broken the 20 days. So what am I saying? Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay cautious, stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.